Hello, and what's up, good people? My good name is Judy. I am a nutritionist by profession. Thank you so much for clicking to watch this video and feel much welcome here. So, in today's video, we are going to discuss about complementary feeding. Complementary feeding starts at 6 months. At 6 months, breast milk alone is not enough to provide all the nutrients that the baby needs to use for energy supply and thrive. So at 6 months, what happens is other foods are introduced in the baby's diet so that they can complement what breast milk is providing. Remember, we are not stopping breastfeeding, we are just complementing breastfeeding. So we are complementing breastfeeding with other foods. Complementing means we are adding something extra to so that the energy that is produced by because the energy that is produced by the breast milk is not enough to cater for the energy requirements of the baby and also help the baby grow, because remember, a baby has to grow. And as I had said earlier in my breastfeeding videos, I said that children who are below 6 months, they should not be given anything else except breast milk, not even water. Breast milk and breast milk alone is enough to provide all that a baby who is below 6 months needs. So at 6 months, this is where we introduce other foods. So I would like us to talk about a few points to consider when starting complementary feeding. Remember, this baby was not used to eating any food. The digestive system of the baby was used to digesting breast milk alone. Therefore, you need to go slow on how you introduce the foods to the baby, because you don't expect a baby whose digestive system was used to breast milk alone, and then you feed the baby a whole plate of ugali. That won't work well. You need to introduce the foods slowly, from starting with foods that are easily digestible as you advance until you get to a point whereby a baby can eat the normal family foods. So at 6 months, you should start with something that is very fine, something that will not require the baby's digestive system to strain a lot to digest. So on the first day, once the baby clicks 6 months, let's say the baby turned 6 months today, you should start complementary feeding today or maybe tomorrow or the day after. But you should start as soon as possible once the baby reaches 6 months. But I know most parents, once the baby reaches 6 months, you are so eager to introduce the foods. So once the baby clicks 6 months today, this is the day that you should start feeding your baby. And you should start with fine foods. And the best thing to start with for complementary feeding, I wouldn't advise mothers to start with Weetabix. I have seen so many mothers who start complementary feeding Weetabix. Weetabix is not an appropriate option to start with, because Weetabix has so much fiber. And remember, the baby's digestive system was not used to digesting any food. So what we should start with, we should be porridge, and if possible, let's start with the grade 1 maize flour, because that one is way easier to digest. In baby's porridge flour, what you should put are the cereals. The cereals include maize, sorghum, millet, wimbi. I don't know all the names, but those cereals like sorghum, millet, finger millet, those ones now. So after you've given your baby the grade 1 porridge for up to 3 days, now we are preparing the digestive system to digest other food. We should now, after giving the grade 1 porridge for 3 days, we can now go to maize flour, the one that you take to the meal, the whole one, with not the grade 1 now. We can start with the whole maize flour, and then that one you give for like 3 to 4 days again. By then Now the baby will now get adapted to digesting more complex food, because the whole maize flour is more, it's kind of more complex than the grade 1 flour. And then now at this point we start introducing other things to the baby's porridge flour. The things that we always, when preparing baby's porridge flour, maize should be the main component. You should never prepare baby's porridge flour without maize. Maize should be the main component. And then now we add these other things like millet, finger millet, the normal millet, such. So when you are starting to add these other cereals, we start by one cereal at a time. This time round, you make flour with maize and sorghum. You give the baby that flour for like 1 week, and then the next time you go to make another porridge flour, you take maize and millet. The other time you take maize and finger millet. After you've tried several cereals, you'll notice that maybe, not a must, but maybe there's a certain cereal once you give your baby, maybe the baby gets constipated. Once you realize that after giving my baby porridge flour with this cereal, my baby gets constipated, you keep that cereal aside. You know your baby's digestive system is not okay with that cereal, so you keep that aside. After you've tried maize and several other cereals once at a time, now you can start combining. You should combine at most 3 cereals in porridge flour: maize and 2 other cereals, maybe maize and millet and sorghum, or maize and finger millet and sorghum, or maize and there is the other millet that usually looks. There are different types of millet. You can combine maize and 2 other types of millet, maize and sorghum and another type of millet, meaning your baby's porridge should have 3 ingredients, and the main ingredient is always maize, and then these other two you choose from other cereals. Okay, now we've started giving our baby porridge. By this I don't mean that your baby should be taking porridge alone. Remember, for the first 3 days we gave the grade 1 porridge, and then for other 4 days we give the whole maize porridge flour. By now we are at 1 week. After this 1 week, we start giving now the porridge and other foods. Foods that should be given to babies include bananas, potatoes, pumpkin, rice, soft ugali, such. And you give, again, when introducing these foods, you introduce one at a time, so that you can be able to identify which foods your baby likes, which foods does your baby don't take, so that you don't have to force your baby to eat what he or she doesn't want. There is a very wide variety to choose from, so I don't see a need of forcing your baby to eat a certain food, yet there is a very wide variety. So today you can start with bananas, tomorrow you make potatoes, the other day you make pumpkin, the other day you make rice, overcooked rice, the other day you give soft ugali, the other day you can make spaghetti or something. Make sure that it is overcooked and you mash it well, so that it is soft for your baby to eat. Another thing, when giving your baby food, make sure you also include fruits and vegetables in any food that you make for your baby. Make sure it has vegetables. And immediately we start breastfeeding, I think immediately we start complementary feeding from day 1. Introduce fruits. For a baby whom we are starting complementary feeding, it is advisable to give 1 fruit at a time. Today you can say we are eating a live banana. Tomorrow we'll be making some passion fruits. The other day we can take melon. The other day we can take oranges, 1 at a time. Make sure you identify the fruits that your baby likes, so that you give those fruits more frequently. If you give your baby bananas and he doesn't like bananas, you don't have to force him to eat bananas. There are so many fruits for your baby to eat. You can try. By that, when you start one by one, you'll be able to identify which fruit your baby likes and which fruit your baby doesn't like. So, vegetables that you should give to your baby: there is spinach, there is amaranth, there are pumpkin leaves. Any vegetable that can be mashed, any vegetable that cooks well and it can be mashed in food, it is appropriate for your baby. Number two, on the part of foods, I don't recommend breading. Yes, I know so many of you will beat me for saying this, but I don't recommend you bread your baby's food. Cook your baby's just cook your baby's food to an extent where the baby can be mashed. There is one problem that I have observed over the years. Most babies who are given breaded food, remember, a bread brings the baby so, like, it is so soft. It is soft. It is so soft. I think even porridge is even rough than what a bread gives. When you get used to giving your baby breaded food, it will be so hard. It will be so hard to stop giving breaded food, because once your baby is used to the smooth things, when you try to give anything that is rough, your baby will start choking. That is why it is very advisable to start with mashing from day one. It is very important to start with mashing from day one. Another key point to consider when starting complementary feeding. This is another point where I expect so much contradiction. And cow's milk, cow's milk. Cow's milk should not be introduced to babies who are below 12 months. You should start giving your baby cow's milk at 1 year. Once the baby picks 1 year, that's when they should start taking cow's milk. Not in the food, not in the porridge. Let the porridge be made like that without milk. Just prepare the porridge, things that you can add to the porridge to enhance the flavor or the taste. You can add things like Brewbird or maybe Prestige, margarine. Yeah, margarine. The brands are so many. You can add that. If your baby is refusing to take the porridge, you can add a little sugar to add on the taste, but don't add milk in your baby's food, in your baby's porridge. Another thing, don't add milk when mashing your baby's food. Would you eat food that is mixed with milk? Would you? Would you? The taste is kinda disgusting. The babies also have taste buds. They feel the taste of the baby. Another thing, don't gone are the days when people used to say that baby's food should be boiled. No, prepare baby's food the same way you would prepare your food. Like fry the onions. Make sure you put some little oil, because you know there are some vitamins that are fat soluble. There are vitamins that will be only used in the body in presence of some oil. These vitamins are vitamin A, D, E, and K. These are A, D, E, and K. These are fat soluble vitamins. These vitamins will need some oil for them to be absorbed and used in your baby's body. Therefore, we should get used to frying baby's food. Put some little salt. Make sure the baby's food is sweet. Taste the food. Feel the taste of the food. And that way, it will be so hard for your baby to refuse to eat the food because the food is tasty. Is there anything else that I've forgotten about complementary feeding? As 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 your baby grows, you earn the amount of food that you give to your baby. A baby will know when he or she is full. Once you give the baby and you see that the baby doesn't, it has gotten to a point when the baby doesn't to eat, it want to eat anymore. Maybe the baby is full. Don't force them, because you might force them and they vomit the little that they had taken. What you do, if your baby doesn't take too much food at a go, you give small frequent meals. You can give meals for, you can, if your baby is a poor feeder, you should make sure that you feed your baby maybe like after every 3 hours. You give some little food now. After 2 to 3 hours, you give some little porridge. After some 2 to 3 hours, you give some little food. Give small frequent meals. Don't force your baby to eat too much food at a go. If your baby doesn't want to eat now, let her rest, and then you give some little more food later. And make sure you give every day. Make sure you give your baby takes fruits at least 2 times a day. And then make sure your baby takes water. Now your baby is feeding, so he'll need water to he will need water, because the food, because now we have changed and we are giving other foods. Make sure every day you give your baby water and fruits every day. Okay, if you have any question about complementary feeding, you can ask me in the comment section and I'll be sure to answer you. I will thank you so much for watching this video till the end. May God bless you. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can continue learning. Bye bye. In my next video, we will be talking something about labor and delivery. Stay tuned so that you can see what I'm posting in my next video tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, and bye bye. Have a good day, good afternoon, good evening, or good night from wherever you're watching me from. Bye bye. See you in my next video.